Block you devils. Stop invading my privacy. My privacy. But anyway, I'll put these links in the description box so you can check it out for yourself. Right. So have a ball eating at McDonald's, KFC, and Burger King. And also have a ball going to these white love churches. Go ahead. Go. Let them sprinkle that shit on you. They sprinkle shit on you. Oh, shit on you. Literally. I'm not making this up, man. I'm not making this up. Anyway. So, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. So this is literally what's happened to us. It didn't happen to the Israeli people because they're not Israelites. That's why I call them Israeli. Because they're Amalekites, actually. They're Edomites of the tribe of Amalek. But anyway, why aren't they teaching us this in school? Why would they? Why? What I wasn't taught in school. Yeah. the same way they doing this. You know, you had this guy, Dr. Gallo, and he was the same guy that did the syphilis experiment thing. Anyway, or was it another one? Dr. Gallo, syphilis? Was it him? The inventor of AIDS, HIV. Yes, he was the inventor. Good one. Good one. Don't forget, this wouldn't be the first. Oh, shit! I'm not kidding you. I already set this up like I was going to talk about it right here. Wow. Okay, cool. This person is actually, he's on point. He's on point. He's on point. He's on point. But anyway, that's the same way that they do stuff like this. For example, the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. The Tuskegee experiment of untreated syphilis in the Israelite man was a study conducted between 1932 and 1972, so 40 years, by the United States Public Health Service and the CDC, Center for Disease and Prevention, disease control and prevention, on a group of 400. It was in the thousands. They're fucking lying to you. They're the goddamn devil. Why would they speak the truth? American men with syphilis. That's what they gave us. They have all these excuses and all that type of shit. That's why I say hi Hitler. And he didn't do anything. He was a good guy and I forgive him. Even if he didn't do anything. But let's say he did. I forgive him. Shows you devils. I'm talking to you devils. We can't forgive Hitler. He did atrocious things and you can never forgive him. We never forget. Right. Anyway. So, they did it in Guatemala. They did it too. They did thousands of people there also. They just threw all these little baby numbers. You have to understand. Let's say it's 400. Let's give these devils the benefit of the doubt. How many sex did these men have? Let that sink in. With the other women. Let that sink in. And also there was paying prostitutes, giving it to them in order to have sex with the men. And then they was paying prostitutes to have sex with these men that had syphilis. They was paying these prostitutes just to have sex with these men in jails. They was having Jake men in jail, and then they would let the prostitutes have sex with them and then give the syphilis to the prostitutes, and then the prostitutes would go out there and have sex. Because back in those days, they didn't have condoms. Why? Because AIDS did not exist. It didn't. Neither did a lot of other diseases that you have right about now. Esau put that there in order for you to stop having babies and be freed. And then they introduced condoms and stuff like that, right? Because it says here that this guy, Dr. Gallo, I had it somewhere else actually. Dr. Gallo? Robert Gallo? Oh, I got it already. It's here. Here. It says, see, I put it, so it's kind of funny that I saw this person over here talk about that thing. This is funny. Anyway, Dr. Robert Gallo, it says here, Gallo admitted the virus he claimed to have discovered in 1984 was in reality a virus sent to him from France the year before. So just like how they discovered America, you get that? Yeah, sorry about that. It was an important call, actually. So it says here, Gallo admitted the virus. Okay, so yeah. So he said that he discovered AIDS. You gotta understand this. Check this out, check this out. In the 1400, 1300, when these cave monkeys was in the caves, raping on animals, you know, having incest, doing all kind of filthy, satanic devil shit. Was AIDS, was it in existence? No. The 1500s, 1400s, 1500s, 1600s, 1700s, 1800s. Was there AIDS? 1900. It was no AIDS. 1984 is about the time the so-called is around the time that the so-called AIDS popped up. Where did it come from? Where does methamphetamine come from? Meth. Where did that come from? Where did this come from? Where did this come from? Where did crack cocaine come from? It's beautiful how these Edomites are on that shit. Where did fentanyl come from? Fentanyl is worse than the crack cocaine epidemic that we had, because you see them young. They don't even look like they're on drugs and they dead. They don't even look this one don't even look like she's on drugs. Don't even look like they're on drugs. And they're dead. Of course it kills. Who made it? Was it Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Maybe it was Splinter and Shredder. Maybe it was Mega Man. No. Maybe it was Spider-Man. It must have been Spider-Man. I always knew he was a criminal. J. Jonah Jameson always says he is. Right. This is what it's doing. Smoking people. Who made this? Was it the Asians? Was it Asian people? Maybe it was the Aboriginals from Australia. I always knew it was criminals and drug addicts. I always knew they did stuff. They done stuff and did stuff. I wanted to say done and did at the same time. They did stuff. Lost voices. Lost voices of fentanyl. What about the crack epidemic? Oh, just say no, nigger. Oh, preposterous. Bunch of criminal niggers on dope. Niggers. Yeah. What about that? Ah, bunch of niggers. They're criminals by nature. Drug addicts. Anyway. Now it's their turn. Ooh, fentanyl. I didn't even know fentanyl until a few years ago. You have like some kind of crazy stuff. Fentanyl. You have carfentanil. You got carfentanil. I always misspell this word, this crazy word. Here, you have heroin. So this much heroin is deadly, and this much fentanyl is deadly. And then you have carfentanil. That's even worse. So this much fentanyl is overdose. This much heroin is overdose. This little tiny speck over here. Yeah, this would kill you. If this was carfentanil, you'd be dead. So this little tiny speck over here is carfentanil. I hope you can see it. I don't know. Maybe make it bigger. Maybe I should make it bigger. Here. No, it didn't work. Yeah, here. This thing could kill you. Overdose. And this is obvious a little bit more than this. A lot more than this. And this much heroin is in overdoses. So who made this? Maybe it was aliens. Maybe aliens did it. You should know which race did this shit, man. You should know. It's the Edomites, by the way. They did that. So they're lying to you. Like I said, AIDS didn't exist until they popped up with it. All of a sudden. Because they want to stop you from having children. Anyway, so let me go back to over here. Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse. Where was I? 3. Thou shalt eat no leavened bread with it. 7 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread therewith, even the bread of affliction. For thou camest out of the land of Egypt in haste, that thou mayest remember the day when thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt, all the days of thy life. Out of the land of Mizraim, it should say. But anyway. And there shall be no leavened bread seen with thee in all thy coasts 7 days. Neither shall there anything of the flesh, which thou sacrificest the first day at even, remain all night until the morning. So all the flesh the Passover meat that you're eating, none of it may remain until the morning. So you need to burn it if there's any leftover. Thou mayest not sacrifice the Passover within any of thy gates, which Yahweh thy power giveth thee, but at the place which Yahweh thy power shall choose to place his name in. There thou shalt sacrifice the Passover at even, and at the going down of the sun, at the season that thou camest forth out of Egypt, which is in the springtime. And what does spring mean? What does the word spring mean? Spring. It also to the idea of rebirth, rejuvenate, renewal, resurrection, and regrowth. That's the same thing that happens with the leaves, with the greenery, with the buds of the plants and stuff like that. This springs forth. Life springs forth. This is life. As you can see here, it life from death, spring. The trees they kind of die in the winter time. They kind of die, and then they are rejuvenated every spring because they spring forth in life. Stuff like that. As you can see here, this is death. This is spring forth in life. This is full cycle, like it's alive. Autumn, they start to lose their hair again. And then winter, they kind of dead. And then spring, life springs forth. Everything, it starts to become beautiful again. Because in the wintertime, this would be dead. Right. And there is no sixth season. There's, in warm countries where it doesn't snow, you have you have, for example, you have the dry season, and then you have full dry season. Then you have little rain season, and then you have full rain season. That's what you have in, for example, South America. You have that there. Instead of snow and autumn, the leaves don't fall, but it's dry season and big dry season. Rain season and big rain season. Those 4 seasons you have. Right. Verse 5. Deuteronomy 16 and 5. Thou mayest not sacrifice the Passover within... Verse 7. And by the way, we don't have to do this no more concerning... because we are not in our land, so now you keep it in your house. That's all what I mean. Because we do keep the Passover, but in your house, And thou shalt roast it and eat it in the place which Yahweh thy power shall choose. But in this case, we do it in our house because we have been cursed. Now we have to go to our enemies to have housing and stuff like that. And thou shalt turn in the morning and go unto thy tents. Right. 6 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread. And on the 7th day shall be a solemn assembly to Yahweh thy power. Thou shalt do no work therein. Right. Verse 9. Subtitled Feasts of Weeks and Tabernacles. 7 weeks shalt thou number unto thee. Begin to number the 7 weeks from such times as thou beginnest to put the sickle to the corn. When you start to harvest, the sickle to the corn is this. When you start harvesting animals. Oh, sorry. Harvesting crops. Here. You start chopping them up and start getting them into the house or your barn. Right. So from that time, because this is from that time. And thou shalt keep the feast of weeks unto Yahweh thy power, with a tribute of a free will offering of thine hand. A free will offering, right? As much as you can give. Free will, free willingly. Do it of yourself. Which thou shalt give unto Yahweh thy power, according as Yahweh thy power hath blessed thee. So if he blessed you with a lot, then you give a lot. If he has blessed you with less, let's say your field did not yield 40%. 40%. It didn't yield. They kind of were bad crops. Then, you give off the 60% that you have. For example, Verse 11, and thou shalt rejoice before Yahweh thy power, thou and thy son and thy daughter and thy manservant and thy maidservant. I was looking at my book, sorry. Let me see. Right. Yeah, right. And the Levite that is within thy gates, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow that are among you, in the place which Yahweh thy power had chosen to place his name there. So that's what you're supposed to do. And by the way, when it says stranger, it's talking about the Israelite foreigner. It's not talking about the stranger heathen. And thou shalt remember that thou was a bondman in Egypt, in Mizraim. And thou shalt observe and do these statutes. Verse 13. Thou shalt observe the Feast of Tabernacles 7 days. And the Feast of Tabernacle, what is that? Well, the Feast of Tabernacle is when you go into a tent instead of a house. And then you build a tent and then you sleep in a tent instead of a house. Because that's how we became a nation. 40 years we was in tents. And then we went into the house. The tabernacle is the place where you have the Ark of the Covenant back in the days. But then King Solomon in the book of 2 Kings, if I'm correct, or 1 Kings? 1 Kings, if I'm correct. It shows you that King Solomon built a house for the tabernacle, for the Ark of the Covenant, sorry. And then it became a house for God. It says it, the house of God, which means the house of Yahweh, the Most High Yahweh. His house was then a place where the where the Ark of the Covenant was situated, standing. 7 days. So we were supposed to have a Feast of Tabernacles 7 days. After that thou hast gathered in thy corn and thy wine, and thou shalt rejoice in thy feast, thou and thy son and thy daughter and thy manservant and thy maidservant. So this shows you that you are allowed to have servants. Whether it be Hebrew servants or heathen servants, which would then be bondmen and bondwomen. But your Hebrew servants would be hired servant men and hired servant women. And the Levite and the stranger, and the fatherless and the widow that are within thy gates. And we had our own welfare system. As you can see here, Exodus chapter 23, verse 10. Well, yeah, wait. You know what? I'll just start here. Exodus 23 and 10. In 6 years thou shalt sow thy land, and shalt gather in the fruits thereof. But the 7th year thou shalt let it rest and lie still, which is the land Sabbath. So every 6 years, you're allowed to plow the land and sow the land. Sow the land and then plow the land. Plow the land, sow the land, and then, gather the harvest and stuff like that. And then the 7th year, you needed to let the land rest for a whole year so that the land can get all the nutrients back. And when it has rested for a year, then you plow it and work it and sow it and reap it again for 6 years, because it would have all the nutrients in the land. But if you continually farm the land continuously, then you will deplete the nutrients of that land. You need to let it rest. That's not what Esau is doing. He's farming the land to death. That's why the fruits and vegetables are getting smaller. But then he's GMOing the other, augmenting them or modifying them to make it big. And therefore putting chemicals in your body too, which will destroy you. That's why cancer is up. All manner of diseases is up. If you change your diet, you will see that something will happen to you. Like, hey, I'm not tired anymore after a meal. Which is how it is supposed to be. Because I remember in the 90s and stuff like that, I was not tired after eating bread. Nowadays, I can't eat bread no more. I don't eat it no more. You know what happened to me? I didn't eat bread for a long time, right? And my bones... Wait, let me finish it. I didn't eat bread for a long time. And then it was a month ago that I ate bread after years. I ate bread again, but then, look, I was eating bread, during those years. I was eating it, but I didn't eat like 3 days in a row, 4 days in a row bread, because I was like, fuck bread. That shit make me fat. My belly get all swollen up like I'm like my intestine, something is wrong there. So I stopped eating bread. It doesn't, how you call that thing? Verteerd. It doesn't digest good. Why? Because they have hair in the bread, and hair does not digest. It's not a hoax. L-cysteine, an amino acid used to prolong shelf life in products such as commercial bread, comes from human hair. So, mummies. She fucking bullshit again. But this is the world of the Satan, my underfoot. This is the world of the people of my underfoot. So, of course they're gonna show themselves as what they are not. Of course they're gonna do that, man. Why wouldn't they? You know what I'm saying? Why wouldn't they? Anyway. What do you see? You see their hair. So what would that then therefore mean? It would therefore then mean that hair is kind of immortal. It's kind of immortal. So, if you grind it up and you put it in bread, then the bread would stay longer on the shelf, because it has this immortal thing within it. So the hair would be a little bit longer on the shelves, without growing fungus and stuff like that, because fungus clearly cannot eat hair. It can't, it can't. The natural fungus of biodegradable things, the natural breaker down, or whatever you call it, however you say it, the thing that is created to break down natural biodegradable things is fungus, which are these bacteria, on biodegradable things. And on things that are not biodegradable, such as, it is biodegradable actually, but I mean like iron and stuff like that, pencils, wood, those are biodegradable also. But then you have rust. Rust eats iron and all those iron type of metals and stuff like that. Except gold and silver. I don't think they can be eaten. Gold and silver doesn't rust. No, silver doesn't rust. Real silver doesn't rust. and also I think copper. Copper doesn't. It contains too little iron. Yeah, it can turn green. They have like a fungus. No. A different type of fungus grows there. It looks like moss. You know, moss. This thing. No. It's not. Yeah. You have this fungus also growing on trees, but moss grow on copper. Let me just put this thing. Yeah, this thing. It looks like moss. That's why I said moss, but it wasn't moss. It's some kind of green thing. It grows on it. I'm not sure. It doesn't eat it, if I'm correct. Does it eat it? Yeah, but you can clean it up. You can make it look like this again. But if it's iron, you cannot make it because it eats it away. So these are the biodegradable things that the Heavenly Father created. If you let the iron long enough, the rust on the iron long enough, it will eat it. But you can actually you can wait until it's coated like that, like it has a coat on, and then you could clean it and it turns into this. But if you leave it too long, it will start corrode and it will start eating away and breaking away. That's the Heavenly Father's way of making nature clean itself, clean itself, eat itself away. Right, rust eats iron. Anyway, so your hair is not biodegradable because it stays there. Yeah, if I said that good. Right, so that's why they put it in the bread. That's the point of me talking about all that there. Right, so going on. Now it says here, Exodus chapter 23, verse 11, but the 7th year thou shalt let it rest and lie still, that the poor of thy people may eat, and what they leave the beasts of the field shall eat. So we had our own system, man. We had our own, you could call it welfare system. We still had the poor of our people that ate, and the food that they couldn't eat, the beasts will eat. So we still had something. They call it the ecosystem or something like that. A rank of ecosystem, something like that. In like manner thou shalt deal with thy vineyard and with thy olive yard. Right. So you do the same way there too. 6 days thou shalt do thy work. And on the 7th day thou shalt rest, that thine ox and thine ass may rest, and the son of thy handmaid and the stranger may be refreshed. And in all things that I have said unto you, be circumspect, and make no mention of the name of other gods, neither let it be heard out of thy mouth. 3 times thou shalt keep a feast unto me in the year. Thou shalt keep the feast of unleavened bread. Thou shalt eat unleavened bread 7 days, as I commanded thee, in the time appointed in the month Abib. For in it thou camest out of Egypt, and none shall appear before me empty. So you need to bring gifts. And the feast of harvest, the first fruits of thy labor. The feast of harvest, that's the feast of harvest. Harvest is when you gather in the food of the land. Here, this is harvest. Back in the days, they used to do it by hand. So you go out there and then you harvest. In this case, is weed, but you also had, other plants like vegetables. Here you have vegetables. And you have also, of course, fruits, oranges and stuff like that. You had other type of fruits. All this is the harvest. You had red beets. I think they call it bell pepper. This is a carrot, but this is a GMO thing, man. This is a GMO thing. You can look up what type of fruits and vegetables are GMO nowadays. You can look it up. You see, if we didn't have the internet, right? which came to us by a Jake. His name is Philip Emeagwali. He's the one responsible for 1 billion connections per second. Bill Clinton even talked about it. I'll put the link in the description box so you can check it out for yourself. Contribution of what? Internet? To the supercomputer, which then goes to the internet here. This is what I want, I think. Yeah.
One of the great minds of the information age is a Nigerian American.
One of the great minds of the information age is a Nigerian American.
Named
Philip Emeagwali.
He had to leave school because his parents couldn't pay the fees.
Yeah.
He lived in a refugee camp
He lived in a refugee camp,
during the Civil War.
yeah?
He won a scholarship to university.
Yep.
And went on to invent a formula that led
And went on to invent a formula that led
computers made 3.1 billion in university. And went on to invent a formula that led computers make 3.1 billion in calculations per second.
and led on to invent a formula that made computer make 3.1 billion connections per second. And what is that? The internet. Bows to you, father of the internet. Respect. So where did the internet come from? Fuck you fucking cave monkeys, man. Every fucking thing you steal. Goddamn devils. Fuck these people, man. You think these cave monkeys are smart? My motherfucking underfoot is smarter than you, man. They just smart with their cunning. You see, smart and wise is a different thing. You see, a wise man wouldn't steal from a drug dealer, because he know you're about to die eventually. But a smart man, he'll steal the shit out of you. I'm smarter than you. I'll trick you. You're not thinking that you have to run for the rest of your life, and if they don't get you, they're going to get your family members. You know what I'm saying? You don't steal from a kingpin. And by the way, a wise man wouldn't even be in that drug world. But I'm giving you an example. You have wise criminals too. They wouldn't do stupid shit, you know. But anyway, everything and anything. That's what I'm telling you. Once you start learning this truth, you will realize that these underfoot people are running the goddamn devil, man. Everything that they do is fake. You know. Fake tits, fake hairs, fake nails on men. I'm talking about the ones on men. Even on females, fake tits, fake hair, fake nails. Everything about them is fake. Everything that they bring to the table is fake. Even they fake food. Fake water. You're drinking gutter water, sewer water, dead water with no nutrients in it. That's why they want you to drink that bottled water. Then they have the high pH thing. Because they're giving you dead water. That's why. And you know what happens with dead water, right? Don't drink still water. Never drink water from a natural source that you haven't purified, even if the water looks clean. Water in a stream, river, or lake may look clean, but still filled with bacteria. No, that's the other one. But the point is, running water in a lake, river, and stream, those are the ones that are good, because those bacteria are not bad. It's the shit that they put in the water. You know, you got people pissing in the water, spitting in the water, you know, throwing all type of fucking chemicals in the water. Of course you're gonna get sick. But I saw this movie one time called Turtles in Time. No, it was Turtles 3. Turtles 3, not Turtles in Time. Turtles 3. Turtles 3 movie. Where is it again? I think there was some samurai things and stuff like. Okay, yeah, I got it. Right. So this is the scene. I was actually looking for this. This is the scene where they had the water, and they said, "Wow, the water is clean. You can drink out of that thing." Water. Clean water scene. I think this is the scene. where they was near the water, and then they said, "Hey, it's not like New York," and something like that. Hey, you can drink out this water, man. You can see the bottom and stuff like that. Yes, these type of waters you can drink. You know. I think this was it. The clean water that they saw, turtles in time. Right. Anyway. Still standing water is very dangerous, because then you have the bacteria. Those are the ones that you should be worried about. If you have streaming water, running water, this, then you can drink it. But if it's like stagnant water, that's the word I'm looking for, man. Stagnant water. What the hell did I just say? Right. It says here, with no movement and aeration, stagnant water becomes a prime breeding ground for biofilms or a collection of bacteria or fungi. Left untreated, stagnant water often becomes home for dangerous diseases and pathogens such as Legionella. Right. And yeah, stagnant water often starts to stink. Yeah. Sitting water. That's why I actually typed you should avoid drinking water left open for a very long time. Yeah. Stagnant water is dangerous, but flowing water is actually not dangerous. And it depends on which region you are. If you are somewhere in the forest where people don't go and throw plastic in the water and stuff like that, it's better water than coming out your faucet, because faucet water is sewer water. If you didn't know, yeah, faucet water is sewer water. My hands frozen. Full water. My fingers are frozen. Why drinking water could include recycled sewage water. Yeah, CNBC. Yeah, they call it reclaimed water. Let's clean the water again. Your own piss, your own shit, your own pussy blood. Everything that you flush down the toilet, you drink it back up again. That's what they're doing to you. You know? So anyway. Right, going on. Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 15. 7 days shalt thou keep a solemn feast unto Yahweh thy power in the place. Oh yeah, I was actually reading here. Sorry. Did I? Was I? Sorry. Exodus 23 and 16. And the feast of harvest. Yeah, harvest. Yeah, I was talking about that. Right. The first fruits of thy labors. Right, the first one that you pick of the work that you have done, which thou hast sown in the field. Yeah, the first fruits that you have sown in the field, those are the ones that you gather up for the feast of harvest. And the feast of ingathering, which is in the end of the year, when thou hast gathered in thy labors out of the field. So this one, the gathering, and the unleavened bread, and the, let me go on. What's the other one again? The Feast of Tabernacles, yeah, right. So it seems 4, but it's 3. I'm correct, yeah, these 3. And the Feast of Ingathering, which is at the end of the year, when thou hast gathered in thy labors out of the field. So 17. 3 times in the year all thy males shall appear before Yahweh thy power. I will go in another video about this. Thou shalt not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread, neither shall the fat of my sacrifice remain until the morning. Yeah, you need to burn the fat, and you need to basically throw the blood upon the ground and Yeah, you don't eat blood, by the way. Verse 19. The first of the first fruits of thy land thou shalt bring into the house of Yahweh thy power. Thou shalt not seethe a kid in his mother's milk. So what does that mean? You are not allowed to do this. Typical topical studies. Now it says here. I'll put the link in the description box so you can check it out for yourself. The pagans of that era and of that area had a fertility rite, which is a rite means a custom, not a custom. I mean a ritual here, religious ritual. A social custom, practice, confidential, right? A religious thing, which involved boiling a kid in its mother's milk and sprinkling the broth as a magic charm on their gardens and fields. They did this in the hope of increasing the yield of their crops. We did it. We did what I just read, which is giving unto the Lord. And how do you give unto the Lord? You give to the Levites. Those are the tithes. You give the tithes to the Levites, and the meat and stuff like that, and the money you give to the Levites, because that's their portion that they got of the Lord. Right. So it says here, it was a custom of the ancient heathens when they had gathered in all their fruits, which is what we do also, but we do it unto the Heavenly Father, not unto no goddamn heathen God, and it is damned by God. So I said it good. To take a kid and boil it in the dam's milk, in the mother's milk, and then in a magical, satanic magical way, to go about and sprinkle all their trees and fields and gardens and orchards with it. What's orchards again? An orchard is an intentional plantation of trees or scrubs that is maintained for food production. Right. Okay. It is organized. This is organized. Damn, this is basically a grove thing. You can't do this, by the way. In next to the altar of the Heavenly Father, you are not allowed to have these type of things growing like that. In that mannerism, you can't do this. This is organized. Right. Thinking by these means that they should make them fruitful. So they was worshiping these idols to make them fruitful. We was worshiping the Heavenly Father to do everything for us. But since we didn't want to do that, now we don't have land to plant apples and stuff like that. We get fed, and we get fed crazy, disgusting type of food that if you know what it is, you would be afraid to eat it. And bring forth more abundantly in the following year. Wherefore the Heavenly Father forbade his people, the Israelites, at the time of their ingathering, to use any such superstitious or idolatrous rites, which is rituals. Rite is ritual. The Heavenly Father Yahweh was warning his people against following this heathen custom. It actually had nothing to do with the dietary laws. So cooking an animal, cooking a kid in his mother's milk, it has nothing to do with the dietary law, because you are allowed to eat but don't do this. But a kid, you're allowed to see the kid, but not in his mother's milk. That's some satanic stuff. They was doing that. Seed. So what does seed mean? Seed means boil. So it says, thou shalt not boil a kid in his mother's milk. So what is a kid? A kid is a baby goat. Seed. So it says here the word seed is Hebrew 13:10, and here is Hebrew 13:10, which is bashal. It says to boil, cook, so bake, roast, ripen, grow, ripe, but it goes into boil and cook. So you are not allowed to do that. Seethe, here it is again, of a liquid boil. You might be seething in rage, you're boiling in rage in your mind. But here is the etymology of the word seethe. It means to boil. Be heated to the boiling point. Prepare food by boiling. Right. So yeah, you're not allowed to do that. Go back over here. Right. So going back to Deuteronomy chapter 16, verse 15. 7 days thou shalt keep a solemn feast unto Yahweh thy power in the place which Yahweh thy power, Yahweh shall choose, because Yahweh thy power shall bless thee in all thine increase. Right. We don't need to worship other gods to get the increase, because we would get the blessing of the Heavenly Father if we did what He told us to do, which is keep the Feast of Tabernacles, keep the Feast of I just colored it. Where did I put it again? Sorry. Wow. Sorry. Oh yeah, here it is. Oh, sorry. Let me just go on. Now, let me see. The bless thee in all thy increase, and in all the works of thine hand, which you do on the land. Therefore thou shalt surely rejoice. 3 times in a year shall all thy males appear before Yahweh thy power in the place which He shall choose, in the feast of unleavened bread, which is the Passover, and in the feast of weeks, and in the feast of tabernacles. And the feast of weeks is I just read it. Where did I read it? Feast of weeks. Yeah, the feast of unleavened bread. Thou shalt eat no unleavened bread. 7 days. You have the feast of harvest, the feast of thy fruits of the labor, which thou sown in thy field, and the feast of ingatherings, which is at the end of the year. Yep. The unleavened bread and the feast of harvest. So yeah, this one and the feast of tabernacles. Where is that? Which is the feast that we need to dwell in tents. So you had the Passover, unleavened bread, 7 days. Then you had the feast of harvest. And let me see, where's the other one?